Tell your grandma to say hello. It's the Kenny and Cairo Variety Show.
All right, and welcome back to the Variety Show of Kenny and Cairo. How you doing, Cairo?
We're doing amazing. I'm doing amazing, you know?
He's not doing too amazing. He's not doing too amazing because I barely can see. Look at his camera trying to catch up. I don't even know what's happening here. Can somebody send this man a camera to Korea? I don't know what's happening. Look at him. Please, someone help him.
You know the sad part is, this is the sad part. I'm recording this on an iPhone 16 Pro Max. It should be a good camera, but like it can't do the work. I don't know why.
It can't do
it might be my program. It might be the program.
Give me 1 second.
Anyway. What up, YouTube? It's your boy ATrueHero. And I'm going to tell you now, my bad. I'm sorry. There's going to be some audio issues on my end in the video, so forgive me. We're working it out. It's going to be better next time. Peace.
Looks like we got the North Korean camera out of there. He's got a South Korean camera. So hopefully everything continues to go. Anyway, we're back. Thank you all for the feedback. A lot of people liked episode 1. There was a lot of really nice comments. I appreciate all the love for there were so many comments talking about the intro, and I wanted to respond to every single one of them and say thank you, but I didn't have enough ways to say thank you. So here, I'm just saying thank you to everybody that enjoyed the intro, showed a lot of love, and all the other awesome comments. The guy, I forgot his name, but the guy that was in the Missing Lethal Duel puzzle, he commented that you played against in the tournament, and he thanked you for not roasting him, which we're not here to roast anybody. It's literally just like a fun show with a little bit of learning on the side. So nobody, anyway, thanks for commenting. I'm happy you had fun and all that other stuff. How about you, Cairo? How about you?
Honestly, I'm tired. And but it's fine. It's fine. Because at the Kenny and Cairo Variety Show, all problems go away. Let's get right into it. Actually, there's a lot happening in the Yu-Gi-Oh world.
There's a lot happening in the Yu-Gi-Oh world, but to transition off of all problems go away, we're going to talk about some current Yu-Gi-Oh events and current news in Yu-Gi-Oh. But right before that, I have a current event I want to talk about where the problems don't go away. They just come back stronger. Okay, and welcome to the news. The not-so-good news. So here you have a nice little picture of the Nintendo Switch 2. We're not going to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 today, though. Not going to talk about that. I'm enjoying my Nintendo Switch 2. I'm playing Donkey Kong Bonanza. What we're going to talk about is the Nintendo Switch 1. I don't know if you guys know this, but about 7 to 8 years ago, the Nintendo Switch 1 was $300. Here we are, 7 to 8 years later, and the Nintendo Switch Uno. How do you say 1 in Korean?
1. So actually, it's complicated because they have 2 counting systems. So one way to say 1 is
like 1 for things.
Kind of like that. So it's like 1 can be like hana, and 1 can also be il. So hana or il.
I like the one that says ew. This is the Nintendo Switch ew. That's this one. I like that one. This is the Nintendo Switch ew. So because of the tariffs, the price of the original Nintendo Switch, the OLED model, and the Nintendo Switch Lite, they've all increased in price. So the Switch 1 has gone up from $300 to $340. And I understand, hey, it's the tariffs, right? I understand that. However, it's a 7 to 8 year old console with a new console already out. If any, like at the very least, you just leave the price at $300 and you don't raise or lower the price because of tariffs. You go, listen, it is what it is. It's 8 years old. It should have gone down. Like, this is crazy. Oh, here's the best part.
So wild.
Here's the best part. Apparently, I don't have this information confirmed, but somebody can look it up. Apparently, one of the executives said, if you can't afford the Nintendo Switch 2, just go buy the Nintendo Switch 1. It still has a lot of great games on it. And then they raised the price by $40. It's crazy. Anyway, I just had to bring this news to the people. I don't know how many people are talking about it, but I found this out recently, and how do you feel, Cairo?
Hey, listen, this is how I feel. This is what I got right here. See, everyone always likes to talk about like their console tournaments that they won. I got me a nice Nintendo Lite from like a random Korean Yu-Gi-Oh tournament that I won, and I don't even use it. Now, in Korea, we're not suffering from these tariffs. Actually, the price of the Switch is like the same that it's been like for the past 7 to 8 years. So it's like I don't have to worry about those problems. And actually, It's funny because this is kind of related, but not really.
Okay.
I was just talking to like one of my really, really, really close friends, my cousin actually, and I was telling him here in Korea you can get the same things that you would in America for way cheaper, i.e., subscriptions. So, for example, something like Netflix, my Netflix subscription, I pay USD $5 a month.
What?
$5 a month for Netflix. And it's not just Netflix. Even like Apple Music. Apple Music is like maybe $4 a month here in Korea. So it's like, and it works when I go to America too. I can still use Netflix and like Apple Music.
Hold up. We about to hit Cairo.
And it's just...
I'm about to hit Cairo. I'm about to be like, yo, Cairo, I got to subscribe to Netflix through your channels, through your Korean channels. I got to subscribe to Netflix. If it still works when you come to the U.S., I want to subscribe to Netflix over there and just use it here. $5. That's less than, I remember when the juice on Netflix was that it was $8. Like, remember when Netflix was $8 in the U.S.? That was like the
I remember.
Juice. I spend way too much money on Netflix right now. It's a crime. So we're gonna have to figure that out. But anyway, on to what some of you are interested in. We're gonna jump over to some Yu-Gi-Oh news and some Yu-Gi-Oh current events.
Okay, guys. I mean, I'm sure you knew that this news was going to come on the Kenny and Cairo Variety Show. But Genesys, how do you guys feel about Genesys? How do you?
That's
guys feel
one of my
about
favorite
Genesys?
Smash tournaments. Right?
Actually, I'm going to be going to Genesys, you know? But anyway, for those of you who don't know what Genesys is, we're not talking about the book in the Bible, right? We're not trying to trying to get religious.
No. We're going to have a lot of variety. I don't think we're going to go there. We're not going to go there. That's not that kind of variety. No.
You know, But Genesys is like Yu-Gi-Oh's official retro format, sponsored by Konami, right? And in my humble opinion, I think the main reason why Konami came up with this retro format is for one reason and one reason only.
Okay.
Money. Money. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, they saw that they were making some money off Edison, but I think it wasn't as much as they would have liked. And they're like, well, how can we make retro more profitable for us? And the answer is Master Duel. But the problem with Master Duel is like, you can't actually, I mean, you can, but they're just too lazy, make the same cards work differently. So for example, Go You Guardian, you can't make it with any synchro or any tuner, right?
It's got to be
like you
Earth,
can in Edison format.
a non-Earth,
or
Earth.
That's exactly
an Earth
right.
non-tuner is what I'm trying to say, right? Or is it an Earth tuner?
So it's one of those two. I don't really know, and it doesn't really matter. But the point is, the same card works differently, and even cards are ruled differently. Also, there's other differences too. In Edison format, like Raikou targets, but like in modern format, like I believe like Raikou doesn't target. So like all of these small changes kind of add up. So Konami was like, well, what is a way we can use our rules with older cards and still attract retro players? And then the brilliant idea of Genesys came up.
Oh. I'm going to go over this, and then maybe we can talk a little bit more about exactly what Genesys is. But starting off, I guess they're doing invitationals. Looks like 16-player mini tournaments run on Saturday. Invitationals, does that mean you can't just enter? You have to be invited to play in these things? Do you know? Do we have any information on this?
So I think like the invitationals are, I mean, it says at the top, right? But what I'm assuming that they mean is like, anyone can play in them. And then like, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I'm not even going to talk about it.
I'm not sure why that's called an invitational, but Genesys invitationals are planned for October 4th and 5th at Anaheim, October 11th and 12th at... You want to say that one?
Listen, I am terrible at aren't you from Portugal? Aren't you from Portugal? Aren't you Portuguese?
Listen, relax. When I was younger, okay, I used to be able to speak Portuguese. I got hit by a car, and I lost the language center that controlled Portuguese. So listen, I got an excuse. Anyway, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Hey, that's kind of close to me. I might be able to go to that one. And then we've got Mexico, Mierda. And then there's going to be stuff in Europe as well. So we're going to learn a little bit about the rules together. I mean, I'm sure most people watching this already know. But yeah, what do we see here, Chiron?
I mean, there's 4 simple rules. But the biggest rule is no pendulums, which honestly, pendulums were a mistake. And I actually think a lot of modern players would agree that pendulums were just a mistake. They were so unbalanced that they literally had to change. Anyway, no pendulums and no links.
They got rid of them too. For the most part, every other summoning mechanic still survives. Fusion, Ritual, Link, Synchro, Xyz, all of that stuff is still in Yu-Gi-Oh! They have their ups and downs and when they're like relevant, but I don't think they really do anything with pendulums anymore. They're just like, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah,
Like,
it's the child that you forgot about that you made in Vietnam. But anyway, so yeah, no no pendulums, no links, and everything's at 3. But the thing is, it's like a point-based system. The standard that Konami set is like 100 points, but they also are suggesting that if you want to run an event with points more than 100, fine. It's really up to the OTS owner. But most events in the beginning are going to be capped at 100, I would say. And it's actually pretty cool because when I looked at the list, I don't know if I would use the word balanced because someone is going to find a way to break this format.
Well,
okay?
Yeah. So ideally, they'll be able to change the points as time goes on, right? If something is unfair or not fair or too fair or whatever, they can like adjust the points. This will cost a little less. This will cost a little bit more. They can adjust it over time. But yeah, like you said, all Link and Pendulum monsters are banned. No ban list. All cards are technically at 3, but like you said, there's points and there is, in general, a 100-point cap. But also, like you said, different stores can play with the idea a little bit differently. They can have less points or more points in the cap and run different tournaments. So yeah, the deck construction is limited by the point system, and the standard cap is 100, but events can run with any point cap, even 0. OTS stores can set their own point caps. So let's see what else we have here. So here's like some interesting ideas. People put together some graphics of some cards that a lot of people know of that people are interested in, and they've shown us some point calls. So here we have what do hand traps cost? So here's all the hand traps and what we're looking at.
It's actually really relevant because in Edison format, there's not really that many hand traps. There's like DD Crow, Goris, Battle Fader, Tragodia, and maybe a few others, but those are like the main ones. But in modern format, there are too many hand traps to keep track of. And like if your deck's not playing hand traps in modern format, you're not playing a meta deck at all. No. So my only gripe is I hate D-Shifter. And if you don't know what D-Shifter does, basically D-Shifter is like a macrocosmos for both turns. And that guy, he's only 5 points.
Only 5, yeah.
That's my only gripe. And it's just like, then you have like Dark Law, and he's like basically a macrocosmos. He's 70, bro. He's 70 points.
Damn, Dark Law is 70?
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So,
D-Shifter being 5 is a little nuts because you can just pop his ass out. He should be a bit more than 5. Maybe I don't think he should be valued at the same level as Max C, but D-Shifter should be higher than 5. But what else we got? We've got, these are generic draw engines and their points in the Genesys format. So we have things like Royal Magical Library being 100 right off the bat. What was
because they don't want people to like Exodia you out the game. Because look at all these draw traps, and a lot of these draw cards are 0, right? So it's like they already know someone's gonna try to like build an Exodia deck. And one interesting thing is Pot of Greed is 30 points. It means you can play triple Pot of Greed. When was the last time in any format you were able to play triple Pot of Greed?
Interesting. Yeah, because there's a lot of cards that cost 0 is the way this is working, I assume. And so you can play triple Pot of Greed, but now you're missing out on like whatever power cards there may be that cost some varying amount of things. But you can play triple Pot of Greed. Even just playing 1 Pot of Greed is kind of crazy though. Like 30 points, like you can fit Pot of Greed in. Like you could go Pot Graceful. Like Graceful and Card Destruction, both being 40 seems crazy because first of all, Pot of Greed being less than Card Destruction sounds crazy. I know Card Destruction's toxic, but historically, I don't know. Maybe that's correct, but you can play Pot Graceful and you can just play Pot Graceful. I don't know. That's crazy. That's just insane.
So I mean, that's it for like draw cards.
We have which trap floodgate are you risking points for in Genesys format? So basically, the floodgates. I heard people talking about this. All the floodgates are basically 100 points. So
and once again, my gripe. Look at macro. How many points does macro cost? Oh my goodness gracious! The decks that I love, Yugioh, they require the graveyard, and they're just like, well, there's not going to be any fun with the graveyard deck. Okay.
Zero
It's just like, come
Zero
on.
is crazy. Zero
Yes.
is crazy. Macro should definitely cost 50. I don't know. It should cost more than
Right?
zero. Like zero is insane. But once again, I'm hoping that what they're going to do with this is they're going to adjust the point values and be like, hey, this is actually this is actually that. And, you know, kind of like how we have banless season in Yu-Gi-Oh! Everybody gets excited for banless season. Maybe we'll get like a version of banless season where they make adjustments to the point system. And they go, actually, this needs to be nerfed, this needs to be buffed.
Maybe when they were making this list, the guy was like asleep at the keyboard and he meant to type 100 and like just 0 came out. And well, we just got to roll with it now.
I know OTS stores are allowed to adjust the point cap, but I wonder if they're allowed to change the point value. That might get a little too squirrely, but I wonder if stores can be like, hey, Macrocosmos is 75. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I don't think Konami's going to allow them to do that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you know,
probably not.
Yeah.
But let's see. We got popular board breakers and their points in Genesys format. So we've got Lava Golem at 0, Raw Sphere mode, Dark Hole Raigeki at 7. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, this is kind of relevant because since Macrocosmos is at 3, not that Macro is the problematic card. There's so many problematic monsters and so many problematic spells and traps that, like, you need a way to answer them.
Yeah, it's interesting. I want to real quick say, how does this address being a retro format, though? Are people... Because, like, I don't understand. So that's something that I don't quite understand. How is this a retro format? I don't really get that part.
I'm so happy that you asked that. That's one of my biggest gripes with Yu-Gi-Oh! Genesis. It's like, it's actually not really a retro format. It's a modern format in disguise, like with a mask on. Because the people who have the most advantage in this format are the people who have been continuously playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Didn't stop. Why? Because they know the whole card pool. Think about it. Are you really going to show up to Yu-Gi-Oh! Genesis like an event with like a Gladiator Beast deck or any deck from Edison format?
Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
You're going to get scraped.
Yeah,
the
so
decks that have
you can just use
the
any
most
card,
advantage,
right?
Yeah, right. So the decks that have the best chance of winning are going to be like the modern decks that kind of got like, you know, nerfed a little bit, but now due to this tier list change point system, now they have a chance of like being revitalized. Those are going to be the best decks from like 2023 onward or something like that.
My
Like
guess
the GBs,
is, without seeing
Blackwings,
it,
good luck.
maybe like the newer cards all have point values. Like, I don't know, but like, let's take Drytron, for example. Maybe every Drytron card has like, they're all 10 points, like 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. And then Lightsworns are all 0. So maybe it's a bit easier to build a Lightsworn deck. I don't know if this is true. Somebody else can find out. But maybe like the newer modern cards just have point values. Like every Drytron costs 10, but all Lightsworns cost 0. And then that makes it so you can make a Lightsworn deck and be maybe competitive. I'm not really sure. I think there's a lot of potential here. It's obviously still not a retro format that people are asking for. People want to play Edison and other retro formats. But I do think this is a way better option than saying, here's Edison format with modern rules, because that just muddies the water. Being like, this is a completely different format, I think is a lot better, and we'll see where it goes, and hopefully, you know, the knobs can get adjusted.
All right, so we are back with another What Would You Do? And this is actually something I saw going around through the Vayu Discord. So, I mean, we had to talk about it. We had to talk about it. The question here is, would you activate a Lure of Darkness?
Yes.
So let's talk about the pros and cons. Yes, obviously, right? You're drawing 2 cards and banishing one.
For me, the answer is just yes. But I'm a proponent of blind allure, okay? I'm a blind allure player, okay? I believe.
Listen, I have a couple replays where I have blind allure and it's worked out for me. Sometimes you got to do it. You just got to believe.
Sometimes you got to
believe.
Sometimes you got to do it.
But anyway, so in this scenario, let's talk briefly about the pros and cons of activating allure. Now, pro, you can potentially draw into Trap Dust Shoot.
Yes, that's it. That's a big pro. That's a big pro, though.
That is a big pro. That is a really big pro.
I don't know what the stats are, but you know, if you get turn 1 Dust Shoot, you know, your chances of winning go up,
like significantly. But like, even if you draw another trap that could be potentially more useful, a bottomless or deep prison, the problem is you opened up Hamster Raiko Caius, and this is one of the best turn 1 openings in Edison format.
Yep.
So by activating a lure, then now there's consideration to banish your Caius or banish your Necro. And like if you draw into Grepher then you're not going to want to banish your neck row. And it just becomes awkward, right?
Okay.
So it's like, if you draw into another back row as well, you don't want to set both deprison or bottomless and decked heavy, because that sets you up for a potential heavy storm. So with the hand you have now, it's already good enough just to go set hamster, set decked heavy.
Okay.
Now, another thing to consider as well is if you activate a Lure of Darkness, you can get extremely unlucky and draw into double Raikou.
Yeah.
But even if like you don't get that unlucky and you just draw into one of your Raikou, that's still bad, right? Because the whole point is like you want to thin your deck out, hamster, whether they attack into it or not. If they attack into it, then you can special summon out the deck. If they don't attack into it, you flip up hamster next turn and special summon out the deck. So either way, you're going to get a Raikou. And you just don't want to increase your chance of a bad draw. So in this scenario, what would I do? I actually would just set hamster, set decked heavy, because the odds of drawing Trap Dust Shoot are very low. And although it is game winning, it's just not worth it. You already have everything you need. So like, you know, personally, I'm setting hamster and I'm setting decked heavy to set up for the Caius. That way, if they Caius, I can chain deck. But it's not about what I would do. It's about what
I'm playing a
you
lure.
do.
I'm playing a lure. I'm drawing cards. I see red. Okay. I'm drawing. What do we got? Bang. I'm good with that draw. I'm happy with it. I got further into my deck. I'm happy with this draw. I don't fucking care. And then I'm still gonna set hamster, move on with my day, and we're gonna play the game.
And you're gonna set heavy storm. You're gonna pro him up.
I'm the best. I'm the fucking best. I'm the best. So that's what I would do. You heard what Cairo would do, and what would you do? Who's that Yugi mom? Okay, here we go.
I'm ready to be exposed for the fraud that I am, and let's just get it.
Let's just get it. Boom.
Okay.
You got a lot
The
to look
dotted
at.
pattern is like kind of weird. It's like, even though it feels like it's giving up, I'm getting a lot of nothing. All right, I'm gonna need another.
You're getting a lot of
That
nothing.
I have no idea.
We're gonna make the dots a little bigger.
Oh, come on! Like,
You gotta
all right,
look. There's some key information
you know
in
what?
there.
You know what though? Like, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that oh my god, I know what this is. It's a spell card. It's Upstart Goblin, 100%. Yeah, there it is. I just needed some big dots, baby. Some big dot. Yo, if you would have revealed the wrong part of that image, it would have looked kind of sus. The Kenny and Cairo variety show might have got canceled.
Listen, we also episode 1. We were talking about cum pizza and about eating sushi. We were doing all kind of shit.
Yo, that goblin looks a little too happy. Okay.
He's putting the gold down too. Like you know what you're buying. I know what I'm paying for. Give me what I want. Okay, on to the next. Here is your first hint.
All right, here we go.
Look at that.
I gotta be like LeBron James and not miss. Now, I have a guess of what that is, but I think it's too soon to guess. But I'm thinking of a monster. But anyway,
Okay.
keep going.
Okay.
I mean, that's not very, very helpful. It's definitely a monster. I was gonna say Zaborg, but I don't think it's Zaborg, so let's keep going.
Okay. Interesting thought.
Oh, well, now we know who it is. If it ain't Zaborg, he got all that ice, you know. Call him Rick Ross. That's Mobius.
You know what's funny is that if you don't know, the Monarchs are like 30 feet tall, and he's covered in armor, probably weighs less than Rick Ross.
Hey. You know, we were talking about that music section.
Yeah.
Got a 45 on my weight. Rick Ross jeans. All right, here we go. 3 for 3. Like I said, I'm trying to be LeBron in this.
LeBron James.
This is Bayou, the Emblem of Honor.
Whoa!
Okay.
Whoa! You
That
got
was-
it off.
come on.
You got it off the
Yeah,
feet.
I mean,
you got it off.
I like, if it's a card in a deck that I play, like, yeah, like I'm gonna recognize it instantly.
You just saw his. I don't know. You were in the.
Yeah,
field
that
like
was. Come on. Ooh, you
Damn.
know, that one was just.
You
for me, it's just too
got that.
easy.
You gave the people no time to play along.
Yeah, no
You just
time. Yeah.
Instantly. Well,
Sorry, guys. Black Wings, Bayou Turbo, Diva Hero. Those are like my 3 decks. So
okay. All
No.
right. We're gonna get you. Don't you worry.
Okay, guys, here we have a simple duel puzzle, and I know everyone at home loves Diva Hero. So we got a Diva Hero duel puzzle for you.
Okay. Okay. Do you love Diva Hero?
Right. Do I love Diva Hero? I have a love-hate relationship with Diva Hero because to this day, I have more tops with Diva Hero than anybody, but like, I just know the limitations of. So it's love-hate. It's love-hate.
You know the limitations of the deck. All right. Well, let's see what we have here today.
Right. So first, let me reveal the knowledge that's public. So graveyard. So that's his graveyard. He doesn't have a banner zone. This is my banner zone, and this is my graveyard. Okay. My extra deck is just a standard Diva Hero extra deck, and these are my back rows. Now we know fact that he has compulsory because we activated Trap Dust Shoot earlier, and we saw him set it. And we know for a fact that he has War Chariot because he added it from his graveyard with a quest. Middle back row is unknown, okay? And he's at 53. So this is actually a really simple duel. So the first step is activating Brain Control. And the reason why we want to activate Brain Con, we want to force out the Compulse is so good because it's a chainable trap. So even though I have Trap Stun, if I activate Trap Stun first as Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2, the opponent will activate Compulse, return their quest, and then it'll be difficult to go for an OTK. So that's why it's important to play Brain Control first. So play Brain Con in order to bait out the Compulse, and then Chain Link 2, so he's playing way too fast. Chain Link 2, you want to activate Trap Stun, and this cuts off all traps. And Chain Link 3, you want to activate Return. And it's important that you activate Trap Stun as Chain Link and Return as Chain Link 3, because if you do it the other way around, your Trap Stun is going to... And the also cool thing about this play is because you activated Return as Chain, even if the opponent has a card Torrential, they can't activate it because Return hasn't fully resolved. So this plays around like Bottomless, Torrential, and I mean, once again, all remaining traps. So it's like, this play is really good because you don't have to worry about trap stopping it. And the only card you kind of have to worry about is Book of... But like, with the cards that you have, it's the best play. So anyway,
so you got to make sure you play Brain Control first because Brain Control baits out the Compulse, etc. If you play Trap Stun, if you, because I've seen this happen. People get quick on the trigger finger. They just play Trap Stun, and they're like, I'm going to shut down traps. And then, like, they play Compulse. They change to the Trap Stun, boom. And now the thing that you want to do is neuter. So you got to play Brain Con first, then Trap Stun, then Return. When you do it in that order, they can't counter with Torrential. They can't counter with, Bottomless. And yeah, you get everything going the way you want to get it.
Exactly right. And then from here on out, it's actually really simple to go for. Pretty much all you have to do is make Brionic. And since Brionic's a water, it makes Miracle Fusion live. However, you're not going to activate Miracle. You're just going to go simple Brio effect, pitch the Prodigy out your hand, return the monster, and then stack the Miracle Fusion for Plague, make Colossal Fighter. And because of all the warriors in the grave, Brio plus Colossal will actually be 54. Attack, game. And like I said, outside of like Shrink or Book of Moon, then it'll be game.
Okay, and here we have a new wrinkle in the variety show. We're going to try and add a little something different, a little spice here and there. Yeah. So here we're going to do some...
It wouldn't be a variety show without spice. It would not be.
That's right.
Like, imagine eating plain chicken. Like, nobody wants that.
Yeah, just a little white cookout.
That's not how they do it in Portugal, right?
No, that's not how they do it in Portugal. For y'all don't know, Portugal is right on the end of Spain. All right, you ain't never had some Spanish cooking that was trash. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, we're gonna do some blind ranking here. So I'm gonna have 5 Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and Cairo is gonna put them in a tier list from 1 to 5. All right, Cairo.
All right. So 1 being like it's the best, and
1's
like 5 being
best,
like
5's the worst.
All right, here we go.
All right, first up, your boy.
Ooh, Molly. That's actually a really good card. Like, Molly by itself is terrible. So I'm actually going to put it at number 5. Because, like, Molly's only other cards, i.e. Caius or a tuner. So by itself, it's terrible. It's a brick. It's awful. So 5.
Okay. Next we have Trap Stun.
Oh, this card is amazing. And it's actually slept on. Trap Stun is one of the best cards
right now in current Edison format because there's so many traps running around. Deck Devastation Virus, Draw Traps, Mirror Force Torrential, etc. I can't say one, so it's either 2 or 3. Blind, I'm gonna see what's out there. I'm gonna give it a solid 3.
3? Okay. We got Molly at 5, Trap Stun at 3, Allure.
Ooh, Allure. Allure's in the 1 or 2 spot for sure. I'm gonna give it 2 though. I'm gonna give it 2. I'm gonna hope like the Dark Arm.
So we have, what do we have left? 1 and 4.
Yeah, we got 1 and 4 left.
1 and 4 left.
All right, value. I mean, by itself, garbage 4. So yeah,
Damn.
The card is amazing. It falls into the category of standalone. It's terrible, just like malicious. But at least you can summon or set a value, whereas you can't do that with malicious. So 4.
Oh, no. But you can tribute your Necro Gardener to summon, right? Get Gardener in the grave, right? That's kind of, maybe.
Sure.
Anyway, well, this next one's going to be easy. I mean, there's only one place it can go.
Yes, yes, and I'm so happy putting that as number 1. Yeah. Listen, you always save the best for last. I mean, Heavy Storm, like this card is nutty. Like it's nutty. Like it's just is it banned in modern format? I think it is. But even in Edison format, like you're always scared of Heavy Storm.
How many points is it in Genesys? I don't remember.
I think it's not like 20 or 30, like in that range. Like I know you can play it. There's Storm, there's Feather Duster, and just since you brought up Genesys, last thing I'll say, Mystic Mine, I think is at 0. And if you know anything about Mystic Mine,
hell no! Oh
yes,
hell
bro,
no.
yes.
All right, guys. On November 8th, we are doing another IMNerd Circuit Series. That's right, another $1,000 tournament for Edison format on November 8th.
Right, baby.
The same rules apply. You just need to be a party member or higher actively on our Patreon. That's the only criteria you need to play in this tournament. You need to be at the party member or higher tier. There's $1,000 cash, just like last time. Chess Prime won last time, got $400 for first, and then the rest of the top 8 split the other $600. There was no BS. Everybody got paid out their money that night. We had a great tournament. It was 80 people. It's going to be a good time. November 8th. Be there or be square. Peace.
I got nothing to say. Oh, fuck. All right, so, and we have a special bonus. What would you do? What do you got for us, Cairo? What would you do? What would I do? What would they do?
Listen, I always give the input first.
Okay.
So here, we're facing down a GB and 3 back rows. I want to hear what you would do, Kenny. What would you do?
What would I do?
You're
I
the
don't know.
master.
Here's
Yes.
the thing. I'm a little scared. Well, I'm the disaster. I'm a little scared because he's got 3 back rows. It's GBs. I got Heavy Storm in my hand, right? Maybe if I play Heavy Storm, he plays Starlight Road. And now I'm like Starlight Road out of the game, and I'm like in a really bad spot. Who knows what the other back rows are? I could Blind Allure, but that's crazy right now. I love Blind Allure. We talked about it earlier, but right now that's crazy. You can't do that. I don't know. Maybe you just go summon Cyber Dragon attack. Sub or Cyber Dragon. Maybe you get Bottomless. Maybe you get Thief. Like, there's a lot of things that can go right and wrong. So this is honestly a hand that might be a little scary. There's a lot of different ways you can go. I'm curious what you guys would do, but what ends up happening, Cairo?
Let's just show them. I say I'm playing Heavy Storm, and it was Heavy Storm into GG.